It only takes 15 minutes, a couple of times a week, you'll be making progress before you know it. Welcome to Iron Dad, where we break down everything you need to know about training and balancing a busy life and family. Today, we're going to break down how I went from chronic back pain to living pain-free, training how I want, and most importantly, being able to play on the floor with my kids again. But first, a little about me. I'm a pretty normal guy. I'm the assistant principal at a primary school, personal trainer, and strength and conditioning coach. I'm a husband to a beautiful wife and the father to two beautiful children. I've got a decent background in training principles, but for most of my life I have worked with speed and power athletes. About 4 years ago, a couple of my friends decided they wanted to do an Ironman triathlon. I'd never really thought too much about endurance sports, but when they explained the 3.8k swim, the 180k ride, and the 42k run, I thought this sounds insane, and I thought I would have a look at it. What I saw was normal people doing this extraordinary thing with their bodies. And I was sucked in. Step 1, train for a triathlon. Step 2, do a half Ironman. Step 3, do a full. Easy. Problem was, after I finished my first triathlon, my back got sore. Then more sore, then more sore, then more sore. Until finally, I wasn't able to train or move without being in pain. In the meantime, my first child was born. The best day of my life. But I realised that getting up and down off the floor was not something I was very good at anymore. I tried to stretch, didn't work. I tried to push through it, obviously didn't work. I tried to rest, and I got fat. So here I was, with this big goal, but unable to fill the fundamental tasks that I need to complete at home. Being a male, I thought I could solve this myself. I didn't, and it got worse. Finally, I had to accept it, that maybe I didn't have the answers. Step 1 in our first C, consult. I started to talk to people, read articles, and listen to people who'd been through this, and more importantly, were paid and had qualifications to fix it. If you're trying to solve your back pain by yourself, I'm sorry, but you probably won't. Back pain is an incredibly complex thing, and chances are you won't flick the solution yourself. For me, a neurosurgeon was who I needed to speak to, because without the structural change in my back, I could stretch, rest and roll for the rest of my life, and I would go nowhere. So I got my surgery done, and being the idiot that I am, my first question to the surgeon was, "Hey, when can I run again?" He said, "Let's work on walking first." My soul nearly left my body. I felt great until the anaesthetic wore off. Being supported by 2 nurses while I battled to get my bladder to let me pee sure was humbling. The next step was rehab. I saw physios. I talked to people who had recovered from something similar. I read every article and I listened to every podcast. I even subscribed to an online academic journal so I could get the latest research. I like to have a plan, so I put together a mobility progression and a return to exercise progression based on all of this consultation and research that I had done. I got a few experts to look over it, shout out John and Tara, and I quickly realised that this was not going to be a linear process. I'd take 10 giant leaps forward, then I'd take 10 giant leaps backwards. Some days it felt hopeless, but you can't give up. Step 2, consistency. Every bit of the thousands of hours of research that I did into this says the same thing. Consistency is king for back pain. Later, I'll show you the 5-minute mobility progression that I use every day, and the 15-minute progression I use to be able to move and be confident in my body again, and where you can download it for free. There seems to be a prevailing logic amongst people that with back pain, you need to move as little as possible. Whilst that may be true in some instances, for most people, movement is going to be your friend. Step 3, challenge. You need to be consistently and sensibly challenging yourself if you hope to improve. Now, I don't mean pushing yourself to exhaustion or extreme pain or throwing up on the side of the road. I mean small, incremental, consistent and safe gains. For example, when I started walking again, I increased my walking distance by a mere 50 meters every second day. That was June, and over the months that followed, the sum of these small gains and me doing some short running again with my friends by Christmas, if you can call the speed I was at running. Now, I had some massive issues along the way, as with most spinal surgeries. I had persistent foot numbness, all sorts of tightness, and the obvious loss of muscle and fitness. So much so that I was restricted to run walking for 8 months after my surgery. Now, this was a blessing in disguise. I'm going to do a whole video on the benefits of run walking from beginners all the way through to advanced athletes in the coming weeks. So there you have it, the 3 steps that you can take to get back to living pain-free, training how you want, and getting down the floor again with your kids. Consult, consistency, and challenge. So let's have a look at my 5-minute mobility program that I do every single day. First exercise in my 5-minute daily mobility routine is a hip flexion stretch. So you're laying on your back, you put your knee towards your chest. What you're looking for is a nice comfortable stretch. You don't want discomfort for this particular stretch. If you're not feeling the stretch, simply straighten your leg a little bit until you feel that nice comfortable stretch through your rear chain, that being your hamstring and your glutes. Exercise number 2 is a knee rock. Laying on your back, simply drop your knees down to one side slowly and with control. You don't need to go all the way to the floor. Again, we're looking for that nice, comfortable stretch. We don't want discomfort, and we certainly don't want to be doing this exercise at any speed or velocity. So by controlling your knees down to the floor, you'll feel a nice stretch in your lumbar spine and all of the muscles and joints down around your lower back and the top of your pelvis. Exercise number 3 is neurogliders. So again, laying on your back with your hands behind your knee, this time with a straight opposite leg. Simply straighten your leg gently. You want to make sure that you're going to a point of stretch and not discomfort on this one. Make sure that you're not feeling any pain in your lower back when you're doing this stretch. Just go to the point that you can feel a comfortable stretch. Again, if you want to increase the stretch or you feel like you're not getting the stretch, simply pull your knee closer to your chest and straighten your leg a little bit more. But it's essential that we don't overstretch in this position and cause ourselves any pain or discomfort. And the 4th exercise that I do every single day in my 5-minute mobility routine is a squat with a focus on stretching the rear chain. So you can see in this squat here that I'm pushing my hips back as if I'm sitting on a chair. When I first started doing this exercise, I actually did sit on a chair. And what you will find, especially with lower back pain, is you'll feel quite a stretch through your hamstrings and your glutes when you go to do a squat. The reason that this exercise is fantastic is because we sit down and stand up hundreds of times a day. It's the most functional exercise that you can do. Everyone sits on a chair and everyone gets out of a chair. So by practicing this exercise and stretching and strengthening the muscles in this way, you're moving towards a more pain-free everyday life. So that's it for today. We've been through the 3 C's: consult, consistency, and challenge. I've shown you my 5-minute mobility routine that I do every day, and now you can download the full mobility routine from the notes below. If you want to get in contact with me, my Instagram handle is IronDadTry. Give me a follow. I share lots of information about my training, about what I eat, and plenty of wholesome family content as well. This has been Iron Dad, Season 1, Operation Olympic. Over the next few episodes, we're going to be looking at training, nutrition, psychology, well-being, everything that you need to know to live a healthy and active lifestyle and be great for your family.